I'm Stephen Cocroft from Catamaran Guru, and today we had a chat about trends in catamarans. The trends in catamarans have changed over time. In the early days, a 38 to 40 foot boat, catamaran was considered a big boat. But with the development in technology, sail handling techniques, bow thrusters, electric furling systems, etc., boats have been able to get bigger and be easily handled by smaller crews. The popular size now for a catamaran is probably from 45 to mid-50s, which is a big jump. But for a long time we were in the 45-foot range. So catamarans are getting bigger. But then of course you have the mega catamarans. The mega catamarans are the boats 60 and up, 60, 70, 80, 90 foot catamarans, which are huge, because if you consider that a catamaran is the length of a catamaran, you can multiply it by 1.5 to get what an equivalent monohull would be. So for example, an 80-foot catamaran, if that were to be converted into a monohull, would be a 120-foot monohull. So these are very big boats, and they're very complicated, and they take a long time to build. There are a lot of yards that are starting to build the bigger catamarans, and each yard is coming out with new models, new evolution, etc. I just recently got back from a trip in France, and we went over there. I had a client who purchased a Lagoon 78, the power version, which is a really, really good version. I've sold a number of these 70 series already, so this wasn't my first rodeo. But anyway, we went over to France. We placed the order with a deposit, and then what happens is you have to define the boat. And the definition of this boat is quite complicated, because you've got fabrics, you've got engine sizes, you've got furnishings, you've got electronics, you've got different layouts. There's a lot of choices to be made. So I always like to go with a client to the factory as their representative. Having sold a lot of these big boats, what I find is that buyers of this caliber don't really want to go through the dealer factory network. They're looking for somebody that will represent their personal interests and represent them exclusively. And those are the sales that I've made on the big catamarans. I've been the representative for the buyer exclusively, and representing their interests and advising them the do's and don'ts and guiding them through the landmine of a yacht purchase of this size. When we were in France, we had a look. We went to the Lagoon factory in Bordeaux, which is a beautiful factory. It's a custom-built facility. And there we did a tour of the boats. We had a look at the boats in all the different stages of construction. And then once we'd had a look at the boats, all the phases, different layouts, we went up, and they have a special area where they actually we go through the entire spec of the boat. We go from electronics to whatever the appliances are. They bring in samples. You get a lot of samples come in, and there's so many choices of fabrics and woods, outside fabrics. So there's a lot of different choices, and so what we do there is we match the different colors of wood, the colors of fabric, etc., and we custom build the boat. This is not a production boat. These boats are pretty much custom to what the owner wants. This particular boat had a galley forwards. We have 4 crew bunks, and they chose a lighter interior. They chose a forward galley. You can get an aft galley. On the flybridge, you have multiple different layouts. You can have a jacuzzi. So anyway, we spent the entire day going through and developing the spec for this boat. Once the spec was developed, it was a long day. We went and drank some beautiful French wine. And then the next day we came back, and we went to a company called Yacht Solutions. Yacht Solutions is right next to Lagoon, and these guys equip the boats. They equip them with crystal glasses, tenders, Williams tenders, awnings, covers, pots, pads, you name it. And so the concept is that when the owner arrives to his boat, the boat is completely equipped. He walks on with his bag, and every piece of cutlery, crockery, binoculars, whatever that boat needs is on, and it has been packed, and the place has been found by Yacht Solutions. So it's a complete solution. Lagoon has a very, very good sort of way they do things. So that's where we are with that particular project. We flew back, and now the construction will start. There are milestone payments. We'll go back and check on the boat for each milestone payment. And then in June next year, when the boat is finally launched, I will go back with the crew and the owners, and we will do a full inspection of the boat. And once we're satisfied that the boat is built to spec, floating to her lines, we'll take delivery. And then there's her maiden voyage, which is down the Garonne River from Bordeaux across and around to La Rochelle, where finally the owners will take their vessel with their crew and go and enjoy her. So these are big projects, and they're all different. You know, we have, Fernand Pajot building big boats, Sunreef are building big boats. There are a lot of custom big boats being built. But in all these cases, generally the buyers are looking for someone that could be their person, their wingman, to make sure that everything is going according to plan and there are no surprises or things that go sort of off plan. So that's where we are. As I said, I've sold a lot of these big boats. There are a lot of them floating around there with happy owners. And we're seeing more and more of this happening. We're getting lots of inquiries now to represent buyers for big projects. And if you're interested in a big project, feel free to give us a call. We'll consult with you, give you advice, tell you what all the options are. Ultimately at the end, the buyer is the decider. But we'd be more than happy to work with you if you need our service.